Hi everyone, welcome to another thoughtful session of Collegedunia.com with a thoughtful and visionary leader, Dr. Anupam Nagar, currently working at Gurukul Mahila College Arts and Gurukul Mahila Arts College. So, sir, for the start, for the sake of our viewers, I would just like to know a brief about you and your college.
Sure. Thank you very much, Varun. Namaskar, everybody. This is an institution which was established way back in 1966, by Rajratna Sheshti Shri Nanjibai Kalidas Mehta. He was a contemporary of Mahatma Gandhi, a contemporary of Rabindranath Tagore, a contemporary of Dayanand Saraswati. This is associated with the Arya Kanya Vidyalaya Trust, which believes in Indian ethos, Indian value systems, and it is primarily aimed at promoting women's education. In times, in the pre-independence time, way back in 1937, the ashram was established with just 7 students. And today, Varun, this has grown, into an organization, which comprises of 2 schools, one of Gujarati board, one of Central Board, CBSE, and of course, the Gurukul Mahila Arts and Commerce College with over 2,000 students. This is primarily, sir, a residential campus. We do have day scholars also, but then the college is offering degrees, graduate degrees in English, Hindi, Gujarati, economics, home science, and commerce, BCom with accounting and computer science. These are the subjects that we offer at the graduate level. Then, of course, at the postgraduate level, we have masters in English language and literature. Along with this, the institute is also offering the Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University programs in BBA, BCA, BSW, MSW, PGDBM, and there is one more on management. These are 6 programs in the distance mode which are being offered. And Varun, you would be also happy to know that since the last 3 years, we have got the approval for the National Skill Quality Framework NSQF vocational courses, and we have as many as 5 programs that we are offering, in terms of vocational courses. We have the data entry operator, we have the sewing machine operator, then beauty and wellness, organic grower, and medicure and pedicure, which are of course favorites of girl students. Yeah. So this is the academic ambience that we have. That is something that I would definitely like to share. In addition, Varun, our institution has gone through the NAC affiliation and accreditation process. We have been rendered, we have been given a good grade, and we have qualified on the NAC parameters. I'm sure all of you're familiar with the National Assessment and Accreditation Council. So since the last 3 years, we have had as many as 2 international seminars. In 2017, we had organized an international seminar, on Henry David Thoreau, an Indian thought. Henry David Thoreau was an American transcendentalist, and then the entire world was, celebrating 200 years of his existence. Varun, you'd be happy to know that Henry David Thoreau was, in fact, a kind of inspiration for Mahatma Gandhi himself. The idea of civil disobedience,
yes.
Civil satyagraha, that Gandhiji had was essentially, from the works, of Henry David Thoreau. There was an essay that he wrote on civil disobedience. So when the world was celebrating, Henry David Thoreau's 200 years of existence, we thought that it would be most appropriate to celebrate, in Porbandar, in an institution which is wedded to the philosophy of Dayanand Saraswati and Mahatma Gandhi. And that was a huge success. We had over 380 participants. We published the proceedings of the seminar also in the form of a book. It was published by Creative Press, New Delhi, which is an international press. society. Then in 2020, after this international seminar in 2018, on the 17th of Feb, on the 30th of January 2020, we had another international seminar on Mahatma Gandhi.
Okay.
This was, that Porbandar is, the birthplace of the father of the nation.
Yeah.
And it was so very important to make the father of the nation relevant to the modern generation. So, as an academic tribute, to the father of the nation, we had invited Professor Rajan Velukar sir, who is right now the Vice Chancellor of Oro University, a practicing Gandhian, and he was here to deliver the keynote address. We had Skype sessions also, since it was an international conference, from Scotland. Beverly Swan, she had, connected, who is an eminent educationist at Scotland. She had joined through the Skype app, online. And then we had Abhimanyu Kaul, Dr. Abhimanyu Kaul, who is an expert, in value education. In fact, he's an advisor to the government of Canada. So we had two international experts, Beverly Swan and Abhimanyu Kaul, joining us for the conference. Apart from that, sir, we have been organizing every year state-level conferences, in keeping with the folk literature of the region. We had Santavani. Last year, we had a state-level seminar on Santavani, because, this is the land, wherein we have a lot of saints and, lot many Rishi Munis, who have contributed immensely. And it's so very important that, again, the present generation is aware of them. And there is quality work done in this area. So all in all, Varun, what we have been trying to do is, we have been trying to address all the 7 parameters that we have. If you would ask me a question as to why do I want students from all over the globe to come to Porbandar, the answer would be that we are addressing all the 7 parameters. If it is curriculum aspects, we are offering, we are every year we are offering new programs, graduate programs, postgraduate programs, distance-based programs, vocational programs. Then coming to the teaching, learning, evaluation parameter, you know that the last year has been so very difficult for the entire world. But then in spite of that, Varun, at Gurukul, we conducted through Teams Microsoft online classes. 55 minutes as per UGC guidelines. Every class, as in the offline mode, every day 5 hours, for all the, the semesters, whether it's first, third, and fifth, or second, fourth, and sixth. Our entire team was at it that we have to, in these very difficult circumstances, we have to reach out to the students. We, counsel them, all through, and not only the academic part, Varun, even online cultural programs with it. We organize the annual programs in the online mode, Gandhi Jayanti in the online mode, Teachers Day in the online mode, 15th August and 26th January, all in the online mode, with the participation of over 300 plus all in the online thing. Because, this is, these are students who come from the far-flung and remote areas. So with a strength of over 654 students, on an average, around 50 to 60% of the students would invariably join. So teaching, learning was on, coming to research, consultancy and extension. Varun, you would be happy again to know that we have 2 NSS units, active units. So our students, we were preparing masks, they were going to, door-to-door counseling, spreading the word, of health and hygiene, that we have to understand the importance of sanitization. We have to understand why we should put on a mask. All that, the national service team, the volunteers, we have over 200 volunteers, who went to the areas, wherever they were living. In that area, they would do the counseling. They would send us their pictures. And, that is how, even the, the welfare activities were in the active mode. But again, on the extension front, we have the NCC. The NCC students, in fact, have been the best. They were there everywhere with the traffic police, wherever they were required to counsel, to stand, to be on duty. Our students were definitely there. So, the research component in terms of seminars, counseling in terms of, vaccination. Even right now, there's so much of counseling being done, because, these are areas which are far flung, I say. People don't have much knowledge, and therefore, in the regional language, they have to be told, things have to be explained. And this is what our students have been doing. And then on the infrastructure front, Varun, again, we have been arranging cleanliness drives. If you would visit our organization sometime at Porbandar, you would not find a single plastic. This is a plastic-free environment. It's a 90-acre, campus that we have, and nowhere would you find, there's a lot of emphasis given on cleanliness, on health and hygiene, and no plastic anywhere. All support services, in terms of the fifth criterion of NAC, we've been addressing all the support services, even online, even the scholarship program that was going hand in hand. I mean, no student, whosoever was affected, we have a welfare group in the college. There are certain teachers, they found that certain students were affected on account of COVID-19, their parents were no more. So they came out, they're okay, we'll have a scholarship, we'll work out a fund for them, we'll reach out to such students, who have lost their near and dear ones. But this is the moment, wherein they need the maximum help. Coming to governance, leadership and management, Varun, over 70 meetings, over 70 online meetings, we had with the trust. Our trust is actively engaged in every bit of it. What the dream that our founding father had was to establish a university, Varun, in Porbandar. This is, a region which needs a university. This was the vision of our founding father, that, we should have a Shantiniketan for girls in Porbandar. The way Rabindranath Tagore has the Shantiniketan, in West Bengal, we should have a Shantiniketan here, which is self-reliant, which is self-sufficient. So the efforts, the conscious and very, sincere efforts are being made by the management, top management, and almost every week, every Tuesday, we have our weekly meetings, we have our monthly meetings. And finally, the healthy practices. We have begun, Varun, our sessions have started from the 7th of June. So as you have in the offline mode, we have prayers in the online mode. We start our day with prayers, and on Teams Microsoft, the sessions are planned out. Right now, everybody has been given the directive to celebrate the International Yoga Day. So even in the online mode, our teachers are there on the campus. So we are having physically, the teachers are being trained. They're getting training in yoga through there is a yoga guru from the Patanjali unit here, one Mr. Naresh Bhai. He's, tutoring us. And at the same time, it's telecast to the students, and they are able to sit at home and conduct their yoga exercises. So all in all, Varun, we are trying to address each and every component that, a national institute of our nature, would want to address. Yes, Varun, I'll be happy to take a few more questions if I've not addressed any.
No, sir, it was really great listening to you about the college. This much has done by the college. So basically, looking into these aspects, a leader plays an important role. So you being as a leader over there, I just wanted to know about the philosophy of your leadership. That what's your philosophy of leadership that you are driving these things, and you are taking the college with this. So just a brief about your philosophy of leadership.
Yeah, my philosophy of leadership is very simple. If you permit me, it can be condensed in a small poem that Rabindranath Tagore wrote, in Gitanjali, where the mind is without fear. That poem, that very famous poem by Tagore, carries all the aspects that good leadership should have. Fearlessness, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free. Knowledge is not something to be marketed. It's not a commodity. One needs to have that understanding of education. That is, something that a leader should have, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. We should not have divisions and divisions. We should have, India has the philosophy of Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. The entire globe is our family. We shouldn't have, regional in our minds. There should be no, no divisions, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the word, depth of truth. A leader should speak the truth. He should not merely speak, he should practice the truth. I lead by example, Varun. I am the first person to come to the college at 6:45 in the morning, and I'm the last person to leave the institute at 7:30 in the evening. I don't have a PN who would close my office. I do it on my own. So that's what leadership means to me. That we have to be fearless. You'll be fearless when you tread on the path of truth, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches his arm toward perfection. We have to work and work and work. People are becoming so very negative. What's going to happen to the world? Well, what has to happen will happen. You see, if I can't do anything, to improve it, I should not happen about it. Let me do what I can do in my limited area. And therefore we have to keep working hard. You have to keep working. You have to keep driving at it. One day the wall would fall, isn't it? So that striving, where tireless striving stretches his arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Everything has to be clear here, Varun. Gandhiji said, see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. In modern times, we just need one monkey with his hands on the head. Think no evil. If you don't think, you would not see. If you don't think, you would not speak. If you don't think, you would not hear. So all change has to be made here. We should not think evil. That's what, whether clear. Everything has to be clear here. The vision, of our founding father, the vision of Mahatma Gandhi, the vision of Rabindranath Tagore, the vision of Dayanand Saraswati, all that, this amalgamation needs to be very clear in our mind. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary deserts and of that heaven, into that heaven of freedom, into that heaven of freedom. Education is all about, getting that intellectual height. Education is all about, ensuring that students have that belief, self-belief, self-confidence in them. That is what education is all about. That is the heaven. Heaven is not some part in the galaxy or under the ground. It's right here. Heaven is here, as Milton would say. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. If you think good, you are good. Therefore, the mantra is be good, do good, see good, and think good. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. So leadership, I believe, is by example. You can't today. You do not have the feudal system. You do not have the hierarchical system. We are living in a democratic setup. Everybody is an equal. Whether the PN has a respect, the principal has his respect, the teacher has a respect, so on, and very equal footing. As you had in the times of King Arthur, Varun. In the medieval times, there was a very famous king called King Arthur. It is said that his period was the most, the best period so far as history is concerned, because it was a democratic period. He understood the spirit of democracy. Democracy is all about, it's not just about freedom. It's all about, an equal treatment. There is no totalitarian system that we have. It's a democratic system. This is my area of work. I need to put in my best foot there. This is their area of work. I have no business to interfere there. I need to trust him. I need to support him. I need to encourage him. This is what the students are looking for. This is what the teachers are looking for. That if they get some improvement, if they get some, encouragement, they are there at the front. They will be here with me 24/7. It's all about positivity, and therefore leadership for me, Varun, means fearlessness, walking on the path of truth, no divisions, leading by example, working hard and hard and hard, continuously striving, and having a very clear picture as to what do you expect of the students. You see, now in the next 50 years, Varun, you have to see about the next 50 years. What kind of citizens do we need in India? The past 50 years have been dreadful. The plastic, we have mountains and mountains of plastic. So, we have a lot of, multiplicity of diseases, unheard of, attacking our planet. So in the next 50 years, I believe we would want to give a planet to our children, to the future, that is free of all diseases, which is free of plastic. Right, isn't it? And that is the future that we are visualizing. That I'm sure you would want your children to be living in a clean environment, in a pollution-free environment, in which they have the freedom to think independently. So innovation is the call of the hour, and I think our Prime Minister very rightly puts it. That innovation, creativity. You have to bring out what is God has given you a talent. Every human being is gifted by God with a talent. So vocational program is all about recognizing that talent, where my talent is, and ensuring that I, skill it up, and make a vocation for it. So that's, these were my thoughts on leadership, Varun.
So great, sir. Like, it was really insightful and really knowledge. Like, you imparted so much knowledge on me as well, and I guess that viewers will be also very much impacted with this. So, sir, going on to next question, as you said that you are the first person coming to the institute and leaving in the last person to leave. So it must be your connection with the education sector that you an interest in your interest in education sector that you are doing such a thing. So my next question will be what are the key factors that keep you connected with the education sector?
You see, education is a sector, Varun, wherein you are working for the society. You see, these are, I think, there is one institute, Varun, I'm sure you would be familiar with, down south. I had my education down south. In Andhra Pradesh, there is an institute called as the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. They have a campus at Bangalore, near Bangalore too, Whitefield. That's again for boys. And there is a campus for girls at Anupam in Andhra Pradesh. Now, the base that I have, my understanding of education primarily is on account of the kind of exposure I had there. So, education is a selfless work. You don't have to put, remember the mantra of NSS, not me, but you. It is that you is to be defined as the society, that you is to be defined as the nation, that you is to be defined as the world at large. Education is not placing yourself in the front. It is placing your students, your teachers, your state, your nation, your world right at the front. You're working, so education is, for life, not for living. Education is for a meaningful life, a worthwhile life. But then unfortunately, Varun, there's so much, there have been thinkers and philosophers who have tinkered so much with the process of education that education has been reduced to a caricature today. In fact, the education has been, people are making a mockery of education because the essential task of education is transformation, Varun.
Yeah.
Transformation. You see, and this goal, today, they feel that the goal of education is information. No, the goal of education is not information, it is transformation. And this is the difference, between the ancient systems of education and the modern practices. What we need today, Varun, is an amalgamation. We need a modern Gurukula, wherein it is not, Lakshmi, which is at the center. What we have done is today Lakshmi is at the center and we have driven off Saraswati. Actually, in education, Saraswati should be at the center. So Lakshmi would automatically come. That decentering needs to be done. When Lakshmi is at the center, what happens is that you can't talk of value systems. You're talking of corruption, you're talking of all the vices that you have in the world. But then if Saraswati is at the center, what happens? The value systems of love, of forgiveness, of, the 5 universal values, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prem, and Ahimsa, all that is possible, if Saraswati is at the center. So education, this is the big difference that we have. And therefore, if we are to take a clue from the German thinker Hegel, Hegel gave us the concept of dialectics. Dialectic is, to have antithetical positions. There is a thesis and there is an antithesis. So if the ancient world is the thesis and the modern practices, if they are the antithesis, we need a synthesis today. We need, the best of the way of the East and the best of the West, right? If they can come together, as it has happened in the new education policy. I think the new education policy, I'm sure you would have read it, emphasizes on value education. You see, India is known for its culture. Education is a part of culture, not the other way around. Culture cannot be a part of education because education is a very small term. You see, with sanskar comes shikshan, not shikshan with sanskar. Not the other way around. So, education for me is life. You have to grow every day. You have to think every day. You have to innovate every day. You cannot rest on your laurels. I've been here, in the education sector, Varun, for the last 30 years. I have taught at Nagaland. I've taught in a college which was very close to Burma border in Hague, Hague district. I was in Kohima for a couple of years. I had my upbringing in Imphal. My parents were serving there. So I have lived and worked in the Northeast. I have studied down south in Andhra Pradesh. I've been there for 7 years. I've been here in Gujarat, in Ahmedabad, at North Gujarat University, Patan, at Jasani College, Rajkot, in Gurukul College for over 12 years, and then now Gurukul for the last 5 years. My thinking, after so much of experience, after 30 years of experience, is that somewhere we need to address this essential dilemma that education is not for making money. Education is for life. Degrees should not become begging bowls. If I'm educated, it should be reflected in my language. It should be reflected in my behavior. What is the point, Varun, of my having a master's in English language and literature if I'm not able to speak with you? What is the point of my having a doctorate in, on mysticism and Tagore's poetry if I'm not able to talk about it? Isn't it? The degrees, I have to be worthy of the degrees that I have. There should be a dozen people who should say that, okay, if you're coming at 6:45 and if you see Dr. Nagar, it means it is 6:45. You should be a walking clock. That is what education is. Practice and practice and practice. Not just talking about it, but then actually practicing. Yes, Varun.
So great, sir. So this brings us to our last question. Just you have given so much suggestions and so much learning for all. So any particular suggestion that you want to give to today's youth so that they can also be benefited with this?
Yeah, my suggestion, to the youth of today is that, they shouldn't be casual about anything. With the 30 years of experience that I have, I find that the present generation is immensely talented. They're immensely talented. They have immense potential. But then I feel that they are casual about everything. They're what they say, they're cool about everything. We shouldn't be cool about everything. There are certain things which are quite serious. So if they could develop a little bit of seriousness, I think there is much that the present generation can give to the society.
So great, sir. It was great interacting with you. Thank you for your valuable time and valuable insights that you gave to us and valuable knowledge that you gave to us. So on behalf of Collegedunia.com, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Varun, for giving me the opportunity. I'm sorry I've not been receiving your phone calls.
No,
thank you so much. Namaskar. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram, sir.